Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Apollonia Cross, and today I wanted to hop on for Maternal Mental Health Month, and honestly, just an amazing topic to really touch on because, as we know, and as you guys know, I love talking about self care and the importance of self care, especially for us moms. But there are some things we do need to be mindful of, whether it's self care or self sabotage. And so we're going to be talking about the differences after I give her a quick kiss. Okay, hugs and kisses. It's their nap time, and she's supposed to be napping, but obviously she's not. But anyways, I'm excited to get into this topic with you guys because it has been long overdue. And as I'm getting back into the habit of consistently coming on here and going live on Facebook and YouTube, I am really just excited to be getting back into this topic. So, if you guys are new to me, welcome. My name is Apollonia Cross. I am a lifestyle and wellness coach who specializes in helping mompreneurs learn how to manage and improve their self care better using planners and journals. So, let's go ahead and dive in really quickly with these three things that I really want to kind of help you guys take a deeper dive because self-care is very broad, but a lot of people think self-care is just like spa days. Self-care is reading books, and those are all great things. But there are some things where you definitely want to be mindful of to where self care can actually turn into self sabotage if they are not in alignment with your current lifestyle and your current goals and your current focus, right? Because those things are important because depending on where you're currently at in life, your self-care goals as well as self-care activities are going to be different from what you might see a friend or somebody do. So you have to be very, very aware of what your current self-care goals are and what you are focusing and whether or not you choose to participate in certain activities or not. Okay. So let me know if this is kind of resonating with you or if you're like, yeah, I'm going to need you to go ahead and elaborate a little bit. So, the first couple things, and I see a few of you guys hopping on. So, as you guys are hopping on, let me know where you're at in the world and say hi. But so let's go ahead and tackle one big thing that I want to address when it comes to self care. We all know that we all need to prioritize resting. Hustle and grind culture has made it very, in just society, especially if you live here in the US,
Mom,
society.
I want to on the bed.
Okay, go tell her I will be there in a few minutes and she won't get her gummies.
Okay.
Go. All right, so mom life never ends. But okay, so when it comes to lost my train of thought, it's coming back. All right, I'm back. So, as far as wanting to make sure you are being intentional with your self-care activities and being in alignment with hustle and grind culture, that has put a very bad rep on the importance of resting, right? Like it's like, no, you need to go in, you need to get it done and focus and do all the things. Sleep less, do more, blah, 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 right? But once COVID hit and all of that, now everybody's like, no, I need to prioritize rest. I need to practice self care. I need to be more mindful and all of those things to rejuvenate. Absolutely. Absolutely. However, where this can become an issue is if you are over napping, like right, like you're choosing to prioritize your rest over choosing to actually be productive, right? You may be in a season of life where it's actually go time and you need to actually be more disciplined and intentional with your activities and actually consistently work, right? Not overwork, but be very productive, meaning you knock out your to-do list very efficiently and very diligently. And so that way, when you actually are able to go to rest, you can rest very intentionally and very relaxedly. And that is the best way on how you prioritize both worlds. Because as a mompreneur, we know that we need rest in between mom life, in between trying to build our businesses during nap times, right? Like all of those things. We know that we need to prioritize rest, but we also know that we need to get to work. Like our businesses are not going to build themselves. Our jobs are not going to be there if we don't make sure that we get in and all of that. But you have to find, this is where that healthy balance comes in, because sometimes you can cause yourself to be like, no, I'm just focusing on resting. But that actually, it turns into self sabotage because of the fact that you're choosing to, it leads into procrastination, right? That can cause you to go into procrastinating. It can cause you to be very dismissive and keep you from actually achieving your goals. You have to figure out what that healthy balance is for you and whether or not it's important for you to prioritize rest right now in this season, and exactly what that looks like. So that way you still are able to be very focused and persistent, but also being mindful of your energy and being mindful of the time that you are investing towards things, and also making sure you are reserving that rejuvenation time that you do need for yourself. Okay. So definitely want to be mindful of what your rest looks like in the current season of life that you're in and what that looks like as far as your goals are going. Okay. Now let's go into overindulgence. Okay. So overindulgence, let me show it up here. So overindulgence, right? How does overindulgence look when it comes to self-care? So what that can look like is hanging out with your friends, because we need the relationship.
I need to diaper change.
You need to go and lay down because I know it's not that full. Anyways, um overindulgence, you could be, there's nothing wrong, for this example, there's absolutely nothing wrong with hanging out with your friends, right? Hanging out with your sister, spending time with your spouse. Those are all very important when it comes to improving our relationships, right? And that is great for our self-care, because we are relational beings. We need to commune, we need to connect with other people, and that fuels our cup in that sense, right? But there can be a time to where we're spending so much time.
She said she brought me something.
Okay, cool. I will be downstairs in just a few minutes. Okay, go check in with her. There can be a time to where you can be hanging out with your friends way too much and be like, well, no, it's my self-care. It's my self-care. It's my self-care. Well, yes, that is important to your self-care, to spend time with your friends and to be able to go out and have fun. Or maybe even, what if about shop therapy, right? Like, well, I just bought myself something, right? Well, honey, if you told me, right, if I am your self-care and lifestyle coach, and you told me that you really want to focus on being more mindful with your spending, and you really want to make sure that you are prioritizing more of your savings and you're investing and you're managing your money properly, then we need to really check the reality of what these brunches and these hangouts and all of this shopping is really doing for you. Is that really self-care, or is that self-sabotage? Based off of the goals and your intentions that you told me that you wanted to help you improve upon yourself, that's actually self-sabotage. It's not self-care. The devil has you believing it's you practicing self-care, but it's truly self-sabotage. That, nope, we got to remember, there's absolutely nothing wrong with practicing and doing those things, but we need to make sure that it works in alignment, though, still with our goals. Okay. So being mindful of where self-care and that overindulgence turns your self-care activity into self-sabotage. Okay. And now let's talk about procrastinating. Okay. This is the third thing you want to be mindful of when you're practicing self care, because just like with resting, right, you can be procrastinating by overstudying, right? By overworking. You may be needing to absolutely prioritize rest because you are a workaholic. You need to cut back on some hours. Maybe you need to spend more time with family. Maybe you need to stop focusing on work so much and stop avoiding, right? Avoiding the work you need to be putting into yourself, but you're avoiding the work you need to put into yourself because you're investing way too much into doing for other people, doing for your job, doing for this, achieving for that. Absolutely strive for those goals, do those things, but remember, You are one person. There's only so much that you can do. And you have to learn when you are avoiding something, right? Sometimes we get so focused on trying to do this thing, do that thing, or even focusing on studying, right? We overthink the process and we're like, well, no, I have to learn this skill. I have to learn this skill. Have to learn this skill. You're actually procrastinating because you got all the skills. And I say that because that is a habit of mine that it's a process. You have to understand and what your habits are and your traits are in order to learn how to break the cycle. And so sometimes you can be very productive, right? Because you're not doing anything wrong. But when it comes to what's in alignment with your goals and what you're supposed to be focusing on right now with your self-care and where you're trying to go, this is actually procrastinating, like you choosing to do these activities instead of focusing on the one thing that's actually going to be getting you further is actually holding you back, right? So that's a part of where you have to be mindful and really ask yourself, okay, is this activity productive in alignment where I'm wanting to go? Or this actually is this an activity that I feel that I need to do because I'm too afraid to slow down and focus on, is this sorry, let me rephrase that. So is this an activity that I want to do because I'm too afraid to slow down and focus on what I need to do, right? That spirit of avoidance. We avoid what we need to do. Something, prime example, laundry, right? Something so simple and none of us like to do it. However, if the laundry don't get done, y'all gonna walk around here in nothing. And that's not appropriate, right? You could get in trouble, you could get arrested for that type of stuff. And don't nobody want to walk around in funky clothes, but you keep avoiding it because you're like, but I just got to do this. I got to do that. I just got to do this, but I want to do that, right? Like, but honey, if you told me that your goal is to create a more cleaner environment for yourself and you want to work on making your house a home and you're tired of it looking a mess because it makes you feel like you're crazy and all over the place, then honey boo boo, we got to stop on the other all of this list of things that you got going, right? This one list one of 25, you got to drop everything, right? And let's focus on the one thing because in alignment with your goals, focusing on your environmental health and your home and family life, being more consistent with a routine and laundry until that's built in a habit is your primary focus based off of what you told me your self-care goal was. Okay. And so, again, I just want to reiterate these are the three things that you really need to be mindful of when it comes to practicing self care and how those self care activities can actually turn into self sabotage if you are not careful in working it with intention in alignment with your goals and activities. This is why you need to have a self care plan. And this is where I help you with those. You have to have that goal, you have to have a focus, and then the action steps that are in alignment with helping you achieve that. Without that, that's where the self care activities turn into self sabotage because you're doing right. You're doing the self care activities and you should be feeling good, but you're not. Why? Because it's not in alignment with where you want to go. It's just not. And so just to reiterate, um, let me see, just to reiterate, and thank you so much, Kim, for hopping on. Have a blessed day. Thank you for all your videos and lives. You appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. But let me just go ahead and recap for those of you who may just be hopping on at the last minute as I close out. These are the three things that you want to be mindful of when practicing self-care. Resting, right? Over resting, it is great and very important to rest, but sometimes you need to stop resting and get to doing, right? You don't want to go into sloth mode to where you just are like, oh no, it's okay. I'm focusing on my rest. I'm focusing on my rest. And honey boo boo, it's time for you to go, right? We know one of the things that's kind of a pet peeve, but I understand it. But people have to work through is when people say, I'm just waiting for a sign or I'm waiting on God, blah, blah, blah. Honey, God been waiting on you. Okay. So it's time for you to stop resting. It's time for you to stop saying you're going to take a break and blah, blah, blah. It's time for you to start moving. Okay. Because your blessing is on the other side of where you've been sitting at for so long. And take that lovingly and with a grain of salt. You know yourself best. But my job as a coach is to help you recognize and keep you in alignment with where you are in comparison to where you tell me you want to go. Okay. All right. The third one, overindulgence. Yes, honey, plan the brunches, right? Mother's Day is coming up. Plan the brunches with the girlfriends. Plan the brunch with your mama. Plan the brunch with your sister, aunties, cousins, all the things. However, when you are not, and also go shopping, buy yourself a gift, all of the things. Yay! But when you are doing those things too much, that's going to hurt you in the long run if you are not, if you're doing too much, right? You got to have a mind, be mindful of how much you're willing to spend, how much you're willing to do, as well as how much you gotta be mindful of that. All right, losing my train of thought with this one, all the crazy hair. All right, and then that's the last one. I already did overindulgence. So let's go ahead and now let's talk about that procrastinating again. This is the final tip. Thank you very much. Be mindful of how much you're procrastinating. Now, procrastination can look like productivity, but again, this is why you have the goals and those action steps where you need to be like, okay, those help you be in alignment with where your focus is directing you to, okay? Because otherwise, although you may be productive, yes, you are doing this, you're doing that, and all of those things, but if all those things are not in alignment with where you're trying to go, that means that you're actually avoiding what you need to be doing because there is a sense of fear or something that is hindering you from doing that, which is creating you to procrastinate. All right. So, all right, you guys, thanks for hopping on live with me. This was fun. Be sure to tune in with me next Wednesday. I will be going live again with another topic, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye. So bye.